Yo, what's going on, guys? In this video, we're going to be doing KB-VULN number 3. I believe this is the series from KB-VULN 1, 2, and 3. But yeah, I rate this box about a solid intermediate. But yeah, let's get started. Alright, so the first thing we're going to want to do, I'm going to be showing you guys my walkthrough of the box. I already have done this box. I'm going to show you how I did the box, right? So the first thing we're going to want to do is actually open our terminals. I'm started by doing a net discover minus r 10.0.0.1, which is the gateway 24 minus I ETA 0. And we do get our the IP address of the machine, which is 10.0.0.152. So I'm going to zoom this in. So first I'm going to start by doing nmap scan. I'll do nmap minus sc minus I'll do sv to enumerate the versions. I'll scan all ports on that, and we can just put the IP address in there, right? So next I'm gonna do banner grab netcat minus nv. We can do the IP address port 80, and we do have a server open on port 80 for HTTP. So I'm gonna put the IP address in here. It does show 404 not found. All right, so from here we can do. We do see we have port 22 open for SSH, port 80, which is a server that we just visited. We have port 139.445, which is for SMB. So here we can actually use a tool called SMBmap. And from SMBmap, we're going to specify the host, which is going to be the IP address. We do see IPC $, which is no access. And we also see files, which is read and write. So once we do have the read and write, we can do SMB, or we can do SMB. We're going to be using a tool called SMBCLIENT, and then we're going to specify the IP address, and then we're going to specify what we want to access for the disk. And for the disk, we want to access our files. So we can just enter, we can ls. And from here, I'm just going to cd into, I'll just make a dir called box1. We'll cd into box1, we can ls, so we can actually download that website.zip. So we do ls, we do see a website.zip, so we can just get that, do website or get website.zip. So you can X out of this. We can unzip the website.zip, and it does seem like we do require a password. So there's actually a tool called fcrackzip, so we can do fcrackzip, and we can do -u capital D, and we can do -p, and then we're going to specify between these quotes right here, we can specify the word list. So it's going to be user share word list rockyou.txt, and from here we're going to specify the zip file, which is website.zip, and we do see that we found a password, which is Porchman. So from here, we can actually, let's say we can go to our home, which is box1, go to website.zip, go to SiteMagic, and we do have, once we read the readme.txt, we can read it, which it says, hi Heinzeinberg, your website is activated at KB-VULN. Right, so we can actually just cd into etc, and we can nano into the host, right? And you do see that I did specify the IP address and also the KB-VULN. Also, just make sure you have a space in between, right? So we can put that, and we do have a username and password, so we can go to admin. For the user, or the username is admin and the password is Jesse. So we're going to be visiting KB-VULN. So we can just put that into our web browser. If we go to welcome, we can log in, right? So we're going to log in as admin, and then we can log in as Jesse. We can update the password for that, and we do I think this does seem familiar. I think I did a box on SiteMagic CMS. So let's go to content. We can go to files and see if we can upload a PHP file. So I already uploaded a PHP file. I uploaded mine under reverse shell, or under the files I'll delete this so I can show you how I did it. So I'm just gonna delete that, right? We can just do download a pentest monkey PHP shell from here. We can download this right here. We can download the raw data, so we don't have to git clone the whole repository. So from here, we are under box 1, so we can just wget our shell. We can vim into PHP. Actually, I'll right quit this and I'll open LeafPad so I can delete all this, because this is unnecessary text that we need. So we can just save that. We can do vi php reverse shell. We can go into insert mode, and we can change our details to 10.0.0.1.8, and we're going to be listening on port 8080. So you can right quit that, and now we can go upload our shell. So we can go to upload, browse. I think it was box 1, right? Yeah, box 1, we have our shell right there. You can open that. And we do see that we have our PHP reverse shell.php. So we can just copy this, open this in a new tab. So we can open files, so that means we can't access it, even though it says forbidden. We do know we have access to the directory. And we just want to copy our PHP reverse shell. And before we hit enter, we can actually, it does show connection refused because we don't have a listener up from here. So I'm going to clear this, I'm going to zoom in. So we can do a netcat minus lnvp, which is going to do the verbose 44, actually I listen port 8080. So we start our connection on there. You can press enter. And you do see the little loading sign, so that means we do have the PHP reverse shell to our machine. We do get the reverse connection. So from here, I'm just going to do export term equals xterm. And now lets us clear, right? So now we're going to open a TTY shell. And we're just going to be copying that right here. We can actually let me use RL wrap. So we can actually do some backspaces on that, make it more efficient. So we can just export. We can just export term equals xterm. So we can clear that. We do have our Python shell or TTY shell. We can change that to bash. It seems like Python 2 is installed, right? So if you did watch my last video, I did showcase a it was a GitHub page for priv, right? So if we go to perm right here, I think it was 4,000. Yeah, so I did specify this right here. And we're going to be looking at the common places for bin, right? So what we can execute on here. So we're going to be copy and paste that into here. And what was the file I actually had? I think I remember the command, but I'm just trying to show you guys that I used the cheat sheet. Alright, so I think I can just show you guys the command. So the first command we're going to do is find / we're going to just do the perm, right? We're going to set this to negative or minus 4,000, and we're going to do minus type, which is the file type, which is going to be file, and it's going to be 2 / we're going to do dev null, and that's going to show our files. So the one we're going to be mainly focusing on is the system.ctl, and you're asking why or how I found that. If I went to GTFO bins, I search up systemctl, we could access the SUID bit set, right? For we can just break out of a shell. So I actually did find a different way to do this instead of typing all this out, which would access or would be the same thing, but this is the way I did it. So it was I think it was GitHub, and it was the system module. Let's see, module. I think it was priv. Yeah, so here it is. So this is the C or the SUID system or systemctl exploit, right? It is a module, right? So we do have the .ruby file since modules are ran in .rb. We did set the session to we have to make get a shell. So we're going to be using Metasploit on here. So I'm going to be splitting this right here. So I'm going to do nsf console. And instead of starting a shell using the PHP shell, we're going to use a multi-handler. So we're going to be using use exploit multi-handler, and that's going to we can just show the options, and we got to set the out host to 10.0.0.118, and for the out port we set it as port 8080. That's what we set in the PHP shell. From here we can just run that. And you do see that we have the listener, right? So if we go back to our shell, we can press enter. You do see it's loading. We did get a session 1 open. So I think I can put this into background. I can put that to a background. So now if I do sessions, you do see that we have session 1, which is shell, right? So make sure you put it in session so you can actually see the sessions, right? Because you're going to need that later on, since it is telling us to specify it under session, and they also specified it as a writable dir, which is dev shm, which the directory is it's empty, so it's a perfect directory that we have writable privileges, right? So we are going to download this Ruby file. So from here, I'm just going to cd into box 1. We're going to wget this file, this Ruby file, so we can actually put it under our so we can put it under the I think it was user share. I think it was a user share Metasploit framework, and then modules exploit. I think it's different for Kali Linux 2020, but I like using old versions. But yeah, we can atlas into that. If we vim our vi into the suid.ruby, we do see that we need to specify our if you look down. So right here it's telling us that we need to specify the writable dir. We have the service file. And these are the commands that's going to be running. And then at the end, we're going to remove the service file and the payload file. All right, so we can just quit that out right there. So we're going to be moving our set UID for the underscore systemctl.ruby. We're going to be moving that under user share. I think it was Metasploit framework. We can move this under modules, and then we can do exploits. So you can move that under there. Now we can cd into that. We ls. You do see that we have our that right here. Here's the file right there, the .ruby file. So we can X out of this to refresh, we can exit. I think it was exit -y. Yeah, so we can X out of that. We can do nsf console again. We can load that up, and we do have 2049. So let's see if we can try loading this module up. Okay, so that means we can load the module. So we're gonna go back to sessions, and we lost our session, so we're gonna have to go back. I just wanted to make sure that we can actually that we actually can access that Ruby file, right? So we're gonna be using use exploit multi-handler. We can show, or I don't even need to show options, but we can just set the L host to 10.0.0.118, set the L port as 44, or it was port 8080. We can run this. Once our listener is running, we can go back to our shell, run that. We can put this as a background job, was yes. We go to sessions. You do see we have session 1. So now we're gonna go back and we're gonna execute our Ruby file. So we're gonna be using our Ruby file. We're gonna set options, and we do have the port for 4444 and our IP address. And for the writable file, we can actually do writable file or writable dir, right? Same thing. It can be capitalized or not. We can do this, set this to dev/h and shm, I believe. Yeah, and then we can do the systemctl. That's where it's stored. If you do look back up here, it was stored under the bin systemctl. So that's what we're going to be using. So now we can show we can clear this. We can just show the options. We do have the writable dir dev shm, the systemctl, where it's located, which is under bin. We do have our IP address, and we have the port. So now we can just click exploit or type in exploit. Actually, we forgot to specify our sessions. So we go to sessions, we do have session 1 open. So we can set the session as 1 right there. We can just exploit this. And this is going to get us root on here. And you're asking yourself why it's session 2 open, and the reason it's session 2 open is because I already did this box before, and the first session was the one I traded on. So we're going to let this load. So here it does show that, or was it? It does show that we do get a shell, and then it was removing the temp service and the temp payload file. So that's what it showed in the code. So we're going to be waiting for that. So right now it's removing the temp service, and now it should remove the temp file, right? As it's or the payload file. So we're just going to let that load real quick, or just execute. And it seems like we're about to get a shell as a root. I think we got our shell. Oh yeah, we did get our shell. I'm dumb. Okay, so yeah, we do get our shell. We can actually just clear this. We'll do an export term equals into X term. From here we'll just get our TTY shell. So we can, or you can, it doesn't matter, you can run this in SH, but we'll just change this to bash. And now we are root at KB server. So now if we can cd into root, and we can cat into root.txt, we do see that we got the flag. So here's our flag, and this is congratulations, kernelblog.org. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much it in the video. Pretty fun box. This box is intermediate, like I said before. So we did use the we did check for the SUID for the bed set. We did run the command, and we did find for the systemctl. We found the exploit on the Ruby. We found a Ruby exploit that's ran for Metasploit, MSF. We did copy into the roots, or not the root, but the file path that MSF can run as. We did specify the session, so you have to get a you have to get a session open first using the PHP shell using MSF from the exploit multi-handler. From there, you can actually put that in a background job and actually get the shell specifying the writable dir, the systemctl. You can just leave that as a bin. It should you can't really change this, or if it's specified somewhere else, you can do that. We put the session as 1. We set the payload. This payload's already set, I believe. You can set the al host for your IP address, your port, and you can exploit it. It's going to remove the temp service and the temp payload file, and you should get root on it, right? And you can navigate to your root and cat your root.txt. Well guys, that's pretty much in the video. Remember, if you guys liked and enjoyed, free like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.